breaks a couple of tackles, and look at him go! And look at him go! He's good all the way!
Hurricane Ian is bearing down on the Gulf Coast of Florida as we speak. But these Land Sharks are ready to play some football here in Charleston nonetheless. With their game moved up from Friday to Wednesday, the first region game in Region 7 2A against Lake Marion. Robert Brunson here along with Chris Swisher and Scott Kraftchick. And we thank you all for joining us here tonight, and we're hoping that we'll be able to work in some good football action. The weather actually is not so bad right now.
A little chilly. Got the long sleeves on again. It does feel like football weather. I got to tell you, before we get excited about this game, the thing I get most excited about is listening to your intro every week. I get fired up about that. So I love the energy. Robert, I'm glad you're here. You were not supposed to be here, so I'm glad you are here. So
that's right. The moving the game from actually my trip got canceled anyway because of the hurricane, but moving the game to Wednesday allowed me to be here, and I'm glad to be here. This Lake Marion team's coming in with a 3-2 record. Swish. I don't think we've ever played these guys before. They haven't been in our conference before, to my knowledge, and based on their record, it's kind of hard to tell what we might see here today.
Yeah, they opened the season against our friends down the road, Lucy Beckham, with a 0-24 loss. That's a 4A school. They played 3 1As, and they've beaten a good Manning 3A team as well, too. So they average about a little less than 20 points on offense. They're giving up a little less than 20 points on defense. How that compares to the Land Sharks, we're averaging 30 points a game and giving up less than 14. So on paper, they look pretty good. But when you compare that to what the Land Sharks have done with beating 2 5As, taking the number 1 4A team in the state down to the wire, potentially could have won that game, it's going to be a good, interesting matchup. So it's like you said, it's the first region game that we have. And, the trick here is we played a really tough pre-region schedule, and now you got to be careful about taking your foot off the gas pedal a little bit, especially coming off a really hard-fought game against Sumter Friday, and here we are 4 days later playing football again. So
I know I'm still high on the Sumter win last Friday. That was a great big win for this program, knocking down a 5A school and doing it in a convincing fashion by a 28-0 score. Our defense is a tough unit, but our offense is going to be a little bit handicapped today, Swish. We're losing one running back, but we're picking up another one who's near and dear to your heart.
Yep, yes, sir. Well, first of all, you cannot replace a Vaughn Blue.
No joke.
Vaughn broke his thumb on a breakaway run last week against Sumter, and the kid played the rest of the game with a broken thumb. He had surgery yesterday, and the good news is that he had a very successful surgery. He has a couple of pins in his thumb versus plates and screws, which would have precluded him from playing the rest of the season. But if all things go well and Vaughn does his job, we'll have a chance to see him back at the start of the playoffs or right in the early playoff rounds, Robert. So we wish Vaughn great well wishes. He is actually going to be here tonight as well, too. So if we get a chance to look at Vaughn, we'll put him on video.
Well, we, of course, all hope the best for Vaughn. He's a very excellent running back, going to be playing Division I football next year up at UNC Charlotte. And we know that if he's back for the playoffs, that's when we're really going to need him this year.
Well, I tell you, what's good is that now we've got Tuck Swisher coming back. So Tuck, they'll see his first action of the season. He broke his leg the opening season week, and also had a little bit of an MCL sprain and a slight tear. So he's rehabbed really hard. And I tell you, I saw him. He doesn't talk a lot to begin with, but I saw him before the game, and he just gave me a head nod. And I haven't seen that little twinkle in his eye in a long time, so I'm really excited for him to get back into the action and help these Land Sharks out tonight.
All right, well, we have our captains out there on the field. I think Lake Marion won the toss, and the blue shirts are the Sharks. We're going to be defending the goal on our right. Our 4 captains tonight included Monroe Freeling, Edward Reidenbach, our quarterback. We'll be interested to see how Edward's doing today. And Timmy Castine, number 50, was out there, and I missed one of them. I'm not sure who the fourth one was.
Ben Britton.
Ben Britton, that's right. Big number 54, who's been nothing short of spectacular on that defensive line this season.
I tell you, it's hard to single any one of these guys out because they're all having, banner years. And you're right, the defense is really, really something to watch here. It's going to be. We were talking earlier before you got here, Robert. Every center of every team we've played has had a bad night when they play the Land Sharks because it's Timmy Castine and Ben Britton beating the brakes off of that poor kid every night. And I'm real excited to see what we do here tonight. One other notable miss tonight is Jace Krafchick, who's been our superstar receiver on offense, has got a little bit of a groin issue, and so he's going to sit out. And, of course, we've got the bye week next week, so we've got a nice 2-week ramp up for Jace to get back healthy and get us some more touchdowns.
And we got a pretty good source up here as to when we might expect to see Jace back. What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, I think maybe it's a slight groin, possibly 2 to 3 weeks.
Ooh.
There's Vaughn right there. So the other good news, we've got Tyler Krafchick back on camera. We can fire Scotty now. But there's Vaughn coming in. He's on about the 20-yard line. He needs to put a daggone hoodie on and get a little warm, but he's all casted up. He's the one toting the music behind him as well, too. So really good to see VB 24 out on the field tonight.
I mentioned earlier Ed Reidenbach last week was hobbled a little bit, unlike in the Marlboro County game where he ran the ball just about as often as Vaughn Blue did. Last week, I don't think he had a single run from scrimmage other than a quarterback sneak.
No, I tell you, and what I liked about it, though, Robert, is it forced him to stay in the pocket, and we had phenomenal protection. And when Edward has that time and he stays in the pocket, he's got the ability to go through his progressions. And so I thought Edward had a great game, albeit a little hobbled on that ankle. So let's keep an eye on that tonight as well and see how he leads his Land Sharks on offense.
We're glad to see Bill Sandvik strolling in here just in time to do our stats tonight, and we'll be glad to have those for you. As Lake Marion kicks it off, we pick it up on the 10 cross the 20. We're going to have it 1st and 10 on our own 23-yard line.
Good to see Tez Spahn taking that kickoff, a little nice run back, taking the place of Vaughn Blue.
Tez with a nice serviceable run back there, and our offense trots out onto the field. That big offensive line, of course, the left tackle now wearing his number 78 number this week. He wore 73 last week as Monroe Freeling. And we'll talk to you some more about those linemen as we go forward. Looks like A.J. Johnson is starting as the running back in there.
Yep. I think you're gonna see a running back by committee tonight with A.J. Tuck and maybe some Dylan Baker as well.
I imagine Tuck might be a little rusty. We got a broken play there on the very first one. That didn't look too good. Got it up to about the 24-yard line. Maybe picked up a yard. That makes it 2nd and kind of long.
Yeah, it looked like a miscommunication with A.J. and Edward there, where it looked like I'm not really sure what the heck happened.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. Couldn't tell either. It didn't seem like Edward thought he was going to give it to A.J., but he wasn't sure what he was going to do with it.
Yeah.
At any rate, they're all looking over to the sidelines now, hoping for a better combination for this next play from scrimmage. Edward takes it, going to give it to A.J. He tries the right side of that line, but A.J. Johnson unable to penetrate the defensive line of those white jerseys from Lake Marion, and they are the Gators.
Looks like we lost a yard there. Kind of a sloppy start to the game, which I don't like. I know you don't like. Here we're sitting at 3rd and 10, where we should have much better field position.
Well, let's see what Edward's going to do here. He's got 4 wide outs, and he's going to drop, passing all the way. Plenty of time, rushed at the last minute. Pass is complete. Downfield to the 40-yard line, all the way across the 50, and down to the 45-yard line of the Gators of Lake Marion.
It's Jace Krafchick.
I was about to say, I couldn't swear that's Jace Krafchick, who his dad just said was going to be out 3 weeks.
Well,
I guess that proves one thing.
His old man doesn't know squat.
Exactly. Now we got it 1st and 10, and I'm all excited to see Jace out there. He's having such a great season for the Sharks. It would have been a shame for him to be on the sidelines even for a minute. 10.5 to go here, first quarter. We're trying to make something on this first drive. We didn't get much done on the first 2 plays, but that 3rd down was a winner. A.J. Johnson's going to take this one, and he's pushing people this time, Swish. He picks up about 7 yards on that carry.
Yep, I love it. He's got that old Christian Okoye, Earl Campbell, just bruising style of run.
Yeah, you keep comparing him to some good ones, and can't deny it. He looks pretty good out there. It'll be interesting as he runs off the field to see how he does tonight with significant playing time. And I think old Tuck Swisher is out there now at running back, and it's great to see that kid out there playing again. I wonder, how he's going to be from a rust standpoint, setting aside any lingering effects of that injury, but I reckon we're going to find out here shortly. Trey Brown is in the H-back. This is a pass quickly over to the right side, complete first down across the 30, close to the 25-yard line.
I like seeing them go to Cole Strickler early, and we need to target him a lot more. He's such a big body, a great target for Edward, and the earlier we can get the ball spread out to our receivers like Jace and Cole opens that lane up for guys like AJ and Tuck.
Now we've got a 1st and 10 on their 25. Hand off to Tuck Swisher. He's hit pretty hard right at the line, though. Doesn't pick up anything on that first try for him from scrimmage. That makes it 2nd down, 10 yards to go.
Well, I kind of like him getting popped hard a couple times. It's the first time he's been hit in 7 weeks. So he's a tough kid. He'll take the licks, and he'll get us positive yards tonight, but it's good to see him back out there getting hit a little bit.
And keep your eye on number 3, Zach Hagedon, out wide over here to the left. And sure enough, Edwards throwing it to him, and Zach made a super catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Land Sharks.
Wow. It's the exact same spot that Jace Krafchick had some magic on Friday night, 4 nights ago. That kid had a hold of Zach the whole time, and he one-armed it. Man, if we can get a replay on that, that would be great. But Scotty's shaking his head no.
Only so many things Krafchick can do for us up here, and one of them apparently is not know how badly hurt his boy is or get an instant replay when we need it. But I guess I'll let up a little bit. Anyway, the PAT's good. Sharks are up 7-0, and we're feeling pretty good here early at the Johnson Haygood Stadium, our home stadium this season.
Hey, let's go back and talk about the first play was a bust, the second play was no yards, and then the third play was a huge first. It was a 3rd and 10 first down play, a pass play to Jace Krafchick, and that just set up. Think about what had happened if we drop that pass or don't complete it, then the whole complexity of this first period is changed. So,
and Swish, one observation you made was there may be a mixed blessing from Edward not being able to run it last week in that he had to sit back in the pocket. And here's some proof for you. On that drive, he was 3 for 3 for 69 yards.
In a tutty. That's not a bad way to start off on your first drive. If we can do that every time, we'll be in good shape tonight.
And we talked about Zach and what a great catch that was for him, but credit Edward also. That ball was right there where only Zach could get to it.
Yep, great throw.
So number 10 is going to kick it off for us, I think.
Jake Rook.
Yep, Jake has his boot into this one, and it's going to be returned from about the 10. Those guys fumble, mumble, and stumble and wind up with a 1st and 10 on their own 15-yard line. The two receivers kind of ran into each other.
Yeah, it's the old outfield, call it mine, and the other guy's got to back off. They did that to themselves, but that's a little tough field position. And again, let's key on our defensive line. It's an all-star front line for us, and I'm pretty certain that their center is going to have a really hard night this evening.
And Swish and I are just like everybody else right now, trying to look and see what kind of offensive formation these Gators are going to come out with. Their quarterback is number 12, Torrington White. He's in the shotgun, actually the pistol, hands it off to his running back. He picks up 6 or 7 yards, and that's a nice offensive play to start it off for the Lake Marion team. And I think I may have had the quarterback wrong. It's 13, Navian Hilliard, rather than 12. And we'll look and see who that running back was on that carry here in just a minute.
Hey, whoever it was a great pickup. It got 7 yards on it, and it's a nice first play for the Gators.
Running across the left side of our defensive line over there. It looks like the same formation now for the Gators, and the running back is number 5 or 6. You tell me what it is as they put the H-back in motion.
It's number 6.
Number 6 takes the handoff, tries the right side this time. We stop him after he maybe picked up a yard. That's Xavion Washington, the 5'9" senior. He's only 165 pounds, not the biggest guy I've ever seen in the backfield. Certainly he's no A.J. Johnson.
He looks quick, like he can put a couple moves on some guys too, though. So
looks like we're going to have, well, let's do this play. We might have a replay, hopefully, of that touchdown in just a second. It's 3rd and short now for Lake Marion. Big play. Well, not such a big play because it's early in the game, but it's a big down for them at the 7.5-minute mark here in the first quarter. They're trailing by 1 touchdown. Quarterback takes it, gives it to his back. He's got a nice hole on the right side. Easily picked up 6 or 7 yards.
Hey, here I was talking about our D-line being all-stars and all-world, but right now I got to give the battle in the trenches to the Gators. They're manhandling 3 straight runs and picking up 15 yards in 3 plays.
And again, that was Xavion Washington, number 6, on the carry. And their quarterback, Hilliard, is in the shotgun. Let's take a look. Their offensive formation looks a lot like ours. They were playing with an H-back, 3 wide receivers, 2 to the right side, 1 to the left. 6 minutes, 54 to go. Clock moving here in the first quarter. Our defensive line almost jumped off sides. Hilliard trying to get around the left edge. Can't make it. Chased down and brought down for a very short gain. Looked like number 20, the linebacker, was in there making that tackle. That's Max Mormon.
Good old Maxie Mormon. He's going to have a big night for us tonight.
That's going to make it 2nd down and about 9 yards to go. And Lake Marion is back up to the line. This time they're going to spread it out. 3 wide outs to the right, 1 to the left. Again, just a single running back. And the quarterback calls for it. We're pretty quick off the line, chasing him, but he rolls out to the right side, has a man downfield. Number 1 makes a very nice catch, and the Gators have it all the way down, 1st and 10 on our 45-yard line.
Man, we had a clean shot on the quarterback and just ran right by him.
Let me get that right. Dequan Montgomery, number 1 on the catch there for Lake Marion. And their quarterback zinged that one right where it needed to be, Navion Hilliard. He's a senior, tall guy at 6'2". And now Lake Marion looks like they want to establish the run and then throw the ball a little bit if they can off of that. We got our big 4-down lineman in there ready as the quarterback takes the snap, hands it off to the back. He's hit, brought down, lost about a yard on the play. That's going to make it 2nd down 11 at our 46-yard line.
Hey, they started on their 15. They put together 3 first downs, 2 or 3 first downs already, sustaining a drive, doing some time on the clock, and I'm pretty impressed with what they're doing so far, Robert.
That running back is number 5, Jalen Davis. I think they had another one out there, number 6, earlier, unless I was misreading his numbers. I have a hard time with 5s and 6s, and I got to tell you, I'm a little off tonight because I don't have my hat on. But we'll see if we can muddle through this anyway as the clock gets to the 5-minute mark here in the first quarter. The quarterback takes it, wants to throw a wide receiver screen to the left side. He's got a big, tall wide receiver over there who caught it and rumbled forward for about 6. That's going to make it 3rd down and 5 yards now for the Gators.
They might have watched that on the game film against Sumter because Sumter was at the end of the day, they could not run the ball against us, and they kept going to those quick wide screens pretty effectively as well, too. So maybe it's something that they picked up on watching game film.
Trying to figure out who that receiver was. He was a big, tall guy. Anyway, the quarterback's got the offense set now. Number 13, Hilliard. 3 wide outs, right, 1 to the left. Hilliard's going to throw it all the way. Hits number 1 quickly over to the right side. He's not able to pick up nearly enough. He may have gotten 3 of the 5 that he needed. Maybe even less than that, because now they're going to be facing 4th down and about 4 to go.
Well, this is definitely a 4-down territory call. They're not going to punt the ball. They know that we are going to put up a lot of points tonight, so they can't afford to turn over and just punt the ball away.
And the quarterback runs in from the sideline where he brought the play in from the coach, and he's going to have 4 wideouts this time, 3 on the right side. And a couple times they've thrown quick passes to their wide receivers, either a screen or just trying to get a guy in space. The quarterback, Hilliard, throws it deep downfield to number 11. He's battling with our defensive back there, and that, of course, is number 2.
Tez Spahn.
Tez Spahn.
You know what I saw right there when they did that?
Let's quickly take a look at this instant replay, Swish. As you see now, this is going to be the touchdown over on the left side of your screen is number 3, Zach Hagedon. A great pass to Zach as he was pretty well defended down there in the end zone, and Edward put it right where it needed to be. Beautiful throw and catch for the Sharks.
Yeah, surprising play on that 4th and 3 from those guys going for a long, deep ball. But we'll let that one slide and focus back on the Land Sharks here.
Well, I reckon they think they're going to have to take some chances today. We're going with a true tight end this time with Trey Brown in there on the left side. 3 wideouts over to the right. A.J. back in at the running back position as Edward Reidenbach gets ready, drops. He's going to throw it. He had a man downfield, Trey Brown, but didn't want to throw it to him. Edward kept this one, ran it, picked up 2 yards.
That ankle must be feeling a little bit better, but I kind of like the pocket passing Edward tonight. He's looked good so far.
He's not hobbling around. Last week he had a noticeable limp when he was back there in the backfield. Lake Marion in the white uniforms today on your left. We're wearing our blue jerseys on the right as we move a guy around over there. I think that's Trey Brown, but A.J. Johnson gets the carry. A.J. bulls his way forward, picks up about 5, and we're going to have a 3rd down and 4 for a 1st down. We're still in our own territory after the Gators unsuccessfully attempted to convert on a 4th down by throwing a deep ball. Now we've got it, as I said, 3rd and 4. Just before the snap, though, Edward looks over to the sidelines. We're going with 4 wide receivers. Tuck Swisher in there at the running back position. Likely going to be tossing a pass of some sort here. Lake Marion moving their defenders around. And no, it's a handoff to Tuck. He had a little crease. Tuck moving those legs, driving his way down very close to a 1st down. I think he got it.
Give it to him.
It looks like the referee on this side of the field said it was enough, and the one on the other said it wasn't, but now they're signaling 1st down, and congratulations to Tuck picking up a big 1st down for the Sharks on his 1st game back. He played in the 1st game, right?
He did not.
So this is his 1st game of the season.
It is.
Okay.
It is. What
That's
I like
great.
about that is he met some resistance, ran into a couple of big bodies, and had a good little jump step to get out to the side and fight for those 3 or 4 hard yards.
Exactly. Nice yards after the first hit there as we're at the 1.5 minute mark. First quarter up 7-0. Everett wants to throw this one all the way. Going deep down to the right side. Oh my goodness, it's completed. And it's going to be all the way in for a touchdown. And that guy who wasn't supposed to play tonight.
That's Cole Strickler.
Oh, Cole Strickler. I thought that was Jace Krafchick. Well, congrats to Cole on a big touchdown catch from Edward Reidenbach.
I tell you what I like. I said it earlier. It's great to target Cole, and if Jace is a little under the weather, Cole is super serviceable and has not had a chance to have a big game so far, but a good couple of receptions already, and that was a big one. He just went up and took it over the top of that defender.
And then it was easy running after that. The defender was on the wrong side of him as we kicked the ball up in. Mahoney gets the extra point up, and we're now leading this game 14-0.
Boy, that's a backbreaker for the Gators after establishing a really great drive, started on their own 15, got decent into our territory, and then turned the ball over, and 4 plays later, it's another 7 points on the board. So.
You know, looks like we're going to do a replay here of Strickler's touchdown, and Scott Krafchick's pulling this up, but we got a blank screen. Let's see if we can tweak that a little bit. We got some time because they haven't kicked the ball off yet, but it looks like it's not going to work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I'll tell you this, though, the technology we're working with up here is light years ahead of what it used to be when this was kind of a one-man show about 3 or 4 years ago. And the Sharks with Jake Rook, their new kicker, out there ready to kick it off, and he's got a black thing on one of his legs. What is that? Some kind of on his left leg. He's got a black.
He's just trying to be cool.
Yeah, Dana used to do that all the time. Jake kicks it up. It's going to be fielded around the 5-yard line. Number 1 has it, crosses the 10. We got a bunch of guys around there. He was only able to pick up a yard or two. Daquan Montgomery, and he's had a couple nice plays in this game, but that wasn't one of them.
I tell you, he was kicking into a pretty stiff wind, and that ball just kind of hung up and hung up. I was surprised he didn't catch it in the air. Let it hit the ground. That gave our guys time to get down. If you notice, there was like 7 or 8 blue jerseys with no white in front of them between him and the runner. So,
all right, we're going to quickly do this instant replay as the Gators get ready to come up to the line. Here you see across the middle of the field, deep. That's Cole Strickler, taller than those 2 guys who were covering him, and it's an easy score for him after he made the catch. Lake Marion now has a spread offense, but they're going to hand it off, and they're going to lose a couple, if not 3 yards, as a whole bunch of Sharks are swimming around that backfield.
You know, I said that we lost that first battle of the trench, and I am going to stand by that, but let's see what happens on this second series for Lake Marion. I've got a feeling old Dave Salazzo got the backsides of his D linemen, and we're going to see some serious pressure against these guys here.
We got a new running back in there now. Looks like they're going to move a lot of guys in and out. Torrington White, number 12, is the back. Number 13 is the quarterback, Navian Hilliard. And Hilliard takes the snap, rolls out, pressured, begins to throw off quickly, and they're making a lot of little quick throws here. And they picked up 2 or 3. Not enough, I don't think, to get back to the original line of scrimmage. And now Lake Marion's facing a 3rd down and 11.
Yeah, we were A.J. Zarzaka, Tez, Spahn, Trey Brown. They were on him. There was nowhere for that guy to go.
That is the quarterback sack committee. As the first quarter is winding down here, they may or may not get this playoff with 6 seconds to go. I think they're going to wait it out. And they do. And the first quarter comes to an end here at Johnson Haygood, although the referees failed to recognize that. And we sacked the quarterback who had dropped back, so I'm kind of glad nobody blew a whistle before that play took place.
Well, I was a little surprised it hit 0 and they did not blow the whistle. One good note is both play clocks are working tonight, so at least we've got those back and operable. They were not working on Friday. I don't even know, do they know that it's the end of the quarter?
I don't think they do. The referees are still acting like they're going to keep going left to right here. And
there they go.
Finally, they recognize what's on the clock. That's a little disconcerting. But when we come back in the second quarter, Lake Marion's going to be going right to left, but way deep back in their own end zone.
And it's going to be a 4th down, too. 4th and 19.
We got any stats to speak of from the first quarter? It should be Edward Reidenbach should have some pretty.
120 yards.
I couldn't hear you.
Edward, a perfect 4 for 4 for 120 yards.
4 for 4, 120 yards for Edward. 2 touchdowns. Not any other notable statistics, really. Cole Strickler had 2 receptions for 63 yards. That's a pretty big day in and of itself.
Yeah, Max Mormon leading us with tackles on the defensive side of the ball. Let me take a look at total offense. Lake Marion with 38 yards, Oceanside with 138. Majority of that for us coming on the passing from Edward. Only 18 yards rushing so far. Looking for time of possession. We might be even 5.5 and 5.5 basically. So
not surprising, really. Lake Marion had a fairly long drive, their first one of the game. Wasn't necessarily that long. Well, I don't know. They went from their own 15-yard line to about the 35.
Sustainable and chewed some clock.
And whenever we had the ball, we were moving it pretty darn quick, as we usually do and as we like to do. But now 4th and 19, and Lake Marion is going to see how good their punter is. I think their punter is the same guy who's the quarterback. It is, number 13. And we've got one guy deep there, and we're just going to let that ball die down at the 30-yard line. Is that A.J.?
That was Trey Brown.
That was Trey Brown back there deep. I can't read these numbers.
Well, I'll tell you, I was watching the punter punting into the wind in pregame, and they weren't looking too snappy. So that's about apropos for what we saw in warm-ups. But let's look for a quick strike by the Sharks here to put another 6 or 7 on the board.
And if you look at the flags here, there's definitely some wind. It looks like it is it's behind the Sharks right now, going left to right, if you look at the right end zone at any rate. And Edward brings his troops out there as we've got a 1st and 10 on the 30-yard line of Lake Marion. Obviously, that's a pretty strong field position. Hand off to A.J. up the middle, and he got all the way down to the 23-yard line.
Yeah, and as expected, we're going to be rotating A.J. and Tuck in and out all night, keeping legs fresh, knocking that rust off for Swish and giving A.J. a little bit of a break. But so far, so good. Of course, we're never going to replace Vaughn Blue, but good to see his backups doing the job right now.
And good to see Jace Kraftchick going out wide left here on this one. Cole Strickler's out wide to the right. We've got a 2nd down at about 4. Not a bad place to throw one, but it's going to be Tuck Swisher winding his way through the middle of our offensive line and picking up his 2nd first down of the night for the Sharks. That'll move the line of scrimmage up to about the 17-yard line, and the wind has certainly picked up here. I don't know if you can hear it across our microphones or not, but it's
brisk.
ripping. Now we've got a 1st and 10 deep in their territory, just inside the 20. Tuck gets another handoff. He tries to get around a tackler in the backfield, but he can't quite do it as number 1, Daquan Montgomery, brings him down.
Well, somebody's he's blitzing from a linebacker spot, and that's not the first time he's gotten through, so we got to keep an eye on. He's a good little ball player, so let's see what happens there. He came in unimpeded.
So now we're facing a 2nd down and about 9 yards to go for a first. We're leading it 14-0. Quick pass over to the right side. I think that's Cole Strickler. He's down to the 7-yard line with another catch, padding his stats tonight, which are going to look gaudy the way things are going now.
Well, we're going to take that back from Cole and give it to Bryce Bennett.
All right, Bryce Bennett. I very seldom confuse those two guys, but Bryce is number 6. Cole was usually split out wide over to the right, number 8, so that was an excusable mistake. And that's a handoff right up the middle. I think it was A.J., and he's all the way into the end zone. The bull is loose. A.J. Johnson with his first touchdown of the night. Seems like about his 2nd touchdown of the season. I think he had 1, or maybe he's had 2 before.
He had a big angry run against Sumter the other night, and he pushed his way in for that. I think it was our last score of the game.
That was a quick hitter right on the left side of our line of scrimmage, and he just busted his way right on into the end zone as Mahoney gets ready to put this one up and add another point. And he does. So it's 21-0 now in favor of the Land Sharks at about the 10-minute mark here in the 2nd quarter. And Swish, one thing we haven't talked about is with this short week, the coaches probably didn't have as much time as usual to game plan and to get the team ready for this specific team that they're playing.
They didn't, but I'll tell you what, after ball games on Friday nights, those guys go straight back to Oceanside, and they're in the coach's office looking at film already for the next day. And then I know they do a great job on Sunday getting it done as well too. You know what happened? We actually, the old Black and Blue Club fed them a little home team barbecue on Sunday, so that may have given them a little extra energy and pep in their game planning.
Can't beat those smoked wings.
They are good. That Alabama white sauce is pretty good too.
Yes, sirree. I like that with their barbecue chicken too. That's a great place.
Hard to beat.
We should send them a bill now, right?
We should.
Gave them some free advertising. But the truth is the truth. As Jake Rook gets ready to put this one up, and it's going to go back to the same guy, and he bobbles it back into the end zone. There's a little marker down. He runs it out of the end zone. We're going to tackle him at the 10-yard line. But, yeah, I was wondering, and now you see the white hat showing it was a touchback. I don't know why they didn't blow that whistle a lot sooner than they did. Well, Number 1, of course, is Daquan Montgomery. We've seen a lot of him tonight.
Yeah, that one that one should have been blown dead immediately once that ball got into the end zone. But I'm glad the far side referee got a hold of that one and made the right call.
Looks like number 6 number 6 and number 5 are in there, so I'm not sure which one of them is going to be the running back. Number 12 also has been in there some. As they huddle up, you don't see very many true huddles these days.
Hey, Robert, good to see old number 30, Johnny Gunn, back out at linebacker. We've missed him for a couple of weeks, but good to see him back out there.
Indeed it is. I can't tell if that's 5 or 6, but I think it's 6, Xavier Washington. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That is correct.
And the quarterback, Hilliard, hands this one off. And number 6 barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. He's a slightly built guy. Had some good runs on their first drive, which was by far their best of the night so far.
Good tackle by Johnny Gunn and Cale Gilchrist on that play. I like seeing our linebackers stepping up and moving forward rather than sitting back and waiting. So let's see if they continue to play aggressively tonight.
So the Gators now look at a second down and close to 9 yards, maybe 9.5 to go for a first down. They're trailing by 3 touchdowns here in the second quarter. A Wednesday night high school football game ahead of the Hurricane moving its way, perhaps our way, as the quarterback throws a swing pass to the running back around the right side. That didn't fool anybody. A couple of our guys were quickly there to make the tackle.
Yeah, Ben Britton, just coming from the defensive line standpoint, and then Grayson Freeling from the safety standpoint met him in the middle and said, nope, not going to do it tonight.
So now the white uniforms got to go 10 yards in order to reach the line again on their third down opportunity. Otherwise, they're going to likely be punting this thing again, and the wind still in their face and will be this entire quarter. So that's not an ideal setup for Lake Marion, our first conference opponent. Quarterback drops, throwing all the way. He's rushed. We got a defender right there, closer to the ball than their wide receiver was.
Wasn't even catchable.
Intended for number 11, Rajon Goodwin. Goodwin is a freshman, 6 feet tall, but that pass wasn't nearly close enough. There's a flag on the play.
Did the receiver even attempt to go for the ball? I didn't even think it was catchable.
No, he didn't. You don't think they're gonna call pass interference?
I boo.
No, it's on Lake Marion.
We
and
got
on
offsetting.
us. Okay.
Replay it.
Not sure what they called on either side. Did you see the signals? I guess pass interference on us.
Yeah, pass interference and looked like a chop block offense.
Thank you, Scott. Now they've got a 3rd and 10 still. They're just going to get a do-over at the 8:23 mark here, second quarter at Johnson-Haygood. Our defensive line is a strength of our defense, but I tell you, those young linebackers have really come through for us this year. Our defensive backfield solid as well. As Lake Marion's trying to convert on this 3rd and 10, a nice quick pass they do. The receiver has it all the way up to the 45-yard line. A nice throw and catch, and number 5 was the receiver there. That's Jalen Davis for the Gators. So their quarterback, Swish Navian Hilliard, has shown he can zing it in there.
Yeah. I'm waiting for him to pull the ball down and run. He looks pretty athletic, and we haven't seen him do that yet. If we get good pressure on him, we might see him run the ball pretty well.
You would think we would have seen that by now if it was a big part of their offense. Of course, that would add a huge dimension to what they're doing. Hilliard now takes it, pistol formation, gives it to the running back around the right side. We bring him down. Number 6 carrying the ball, Xavier Washington. Barely able to get back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Man, tracked down by, again, our D-end, number 11, Dylan Baker, and Max Mormon on that play. That run game is going nowhere for them.
Yeah, they try to get the edge, but our guys are stretching it out all the way. Our defensive linemen, we talk about how big and strong they are, but they're also pretty fast. And now the Gators have it 2nd down, actually a little more than 10 yards. They lost a bit there. So let's call it 2nd and 11. Hilliard, the quarterback, takes it, throwing all the way, pressured, has the receiver over on the left side. It's complete only picked up 3 or 4 yards, though. Number 9, the receiver for the Gators, is Mason Miles.
Yeah, Johnny Gunn with great closing speed there, and he had no chance for yards after that catch. He was dead on arrival there.
So yet again, the Lake Marion Gators are deep in the swamp and facing a third down and about 8 yards to go.
Pretty hard to throw a long ball in this wind. I look for the short, quick. Let's see if they replicate the same thing they did on 3rd and long last time, that slant route. So let's see if we can close down a little coverage here.
The wind has even picked up a little bit more since we've been here in the game, and it is right into the face of the Gators. Number 6 is in there now. They've been switching out their running backs. That's Xavion Washington. Delay a game penalty against the white uniforms, and that's not going to help them much as they have to move back 5 more yards, and now they're going to be looking at a 3rd down and 13, maybe 14 for the first. So these guys, they don't look so bad, but I tell you, the Sharks are they're good, man.
They're just firing on all cylinders right now.
Hilliard pressured. He wanted to throw, and you got your wish. He's going to run this one all the way up to the 45-yard line. He should have a first down.
Knew it was going to happen.
He had plenty of room over here on the left side after he wanted to throw it and was pressured in the backfield. That was not a designed run.
Well, Ben Britton was right on him. I saw Ben's shoulders get turned. I'm not going to make any other intimation about what happened there, but gave 13 a chance to roll out of the pocket and pick up that first down. But as I said, I was surprised we haven't seen it yet, but there it was.
And we got Trey Brown in there playing linebacker right now. Timmy Castine, number 50, in the middle of our defensive line. Haven't said his number much tonight. We got the freshman, Mike Jones, number 70. The left defensive end out there right now is number 11, Dylan Baker.
Delay game again, Robert.
Oh, my gosh, another delay of game against Lake Marion. And they're really shooting themselves in the foot here in the second quarter, trailing us 21-0. Thanks for joining us on your Wednesday night. We hope you're all ready for maybe some flooding here in a day or two. And this is a design run by the quarterback, and he picked up about 4 yards, but that's going to be nowhere near where he needs to get as they're looking for it now, a 2nd down and 11.
Well, if you think about it, Robert, we've seen 4 running backs now. Number 5, number 6, number 12, and now the quarterback, number 13. So I think they're running through their rotation of who can actually get yards, and it seems like 13 is the only guy making it happen right now.
It really does seem like 13 should be trying to run it. What an odd formation. 3 linemen. They've got 6 wide receivers, 3 to either side, and it's completed over to the right side, and the receiver caught it but only picked up about 3 yards. Another flag down at about the 48-yard line of the Sharks as the Gators are facing a 3rd down and 9.
I tell you what I've noticed.
It's a procedure penalty on the offense. Are we going to take it? Are we going to decline it? They're not moving the ball yet. The white hat hasn't really signaled. There we go. We get the signal from him now. And they are, I think, going to march it off.
One thing I noticed, Robert, that
may not have had the opportunity to decline that one, not sure.
When they throw the ball, a lot of times they're going backside against their really strong trips side. So let's keep an eye on what types of matchups they're going after. But they've got a –
Here we go with that 3-3-3 formation. I've not really seen one like this before.
Yeah, this has got to be either a draw play by the quarterback or a screen, fast screen.
Well, last time it was a fast screen to the left. This time it's a pass over the middle, and, man, it's complete for a first down as the Sharks try to figure out what in the world to do with that weird formation the Gators are throwing at them. Well, Number 6 was the receiver, and that's Xavion Washington.
That's going to work one time. That play is going to work one time, and then it's done. And so you hope that you can break that one for a long, catch them sleeping. That's not going to work again, I don't think. But let's see if we learn from it.
Well, we'll see as they're facing a 1st and 10 now in our territory. This probably maybe their best drive of the night at this point. They're continuing with this 3-3-3 lineup, and we're going to call a timeout and let our defense chat a little bit about how you defend this.
don't think they're going to go on a go route to number 70 they had flanked out here, but listen,
No.
if they're going to trick formations like this now, you know that's a tough road to hoe. So
Not a sustainable plan, but kind of fun anyway. And certainly it's paid off for them thus far as they picked up a first down. And, boy, this sky last night was crazy colored, and tonight, again, it's pink and purple as the sun goes down. And as we take a look at the sun over here on the west side of the stadium, I know that because that's where the sun goes down every night on the west side.
you might see that from your backyard just right across the river. So
Yeah, I see the rising sun from my house. It sets behind it, but it's a pretty nice sight anyway. And the Gators are getting ready. They're going to come back out with that same formation now and see what we can do with it. Hilliard, the quarterback, Washington, the running back, and 3 wideouts to either side. They push Washington now up to an H-back slot position. The quarterback is pressured. He keeps it. He's running all the way down to the 35-yard line. That's a 5-yard gain.
great tackle by Trey Brown there. That guy had a chance to break loose. Man, he found a way to get through that. Well, I thought we had him dead to rights in the backfield.
And you know, Swish, you cursed us when you asked why the quarterback isn't running it more.
I don't think he's that good of a runner. What do you think? Is that?
I don't know. He's had a couple that look pretty good so far.
I'm trying your old reverse psychology now.
And now we got same personnel in the game, but they're more traditional look with 3 wideouts and 1 running back. As Hilliard takes it, it's just a handoff to Washington. He stumbled a little bit in the background, but still managed to pick up 2 yards.
I'm wondering if that coaching staff's listening into our broadcast, Robert.
They do it all the time to pick up these valuable nuggets of football wisdom. And now there's a 3rd down and about 4.5 to go for the Gators.
Again, another sustained long drive, but there's nothing resulting in points for those guys.
Well, one good thing about running some clock on a long sustained drive is you're keeping our high-powered offense off the field. And now they're looking at a 3rd and 4, definitely 4-down territory. Hilliard hands it to Washington. He's hit right at the line of scrimmage and brought down, maybe lost a few inches on that carry.
Yeah, Max Mormon again, Dylan Baker, those guys are teaming up on that side of the ball to just stop any attempt to try to gain a yard in their area.
And their running back, Washington, as I noted earlier, is 5'9", 165. And running into our defensive line is a bit of a mismatch. I'm sure they wish they'd like to get him out on the edge a little more. And now they're going to go with 5 wideouts as they're facing a 4th down and about 4.5 to go. Hilliard drops, wants to throw it to the right. He's pressured. I don't know why he doesn't run it, and he does, because he's able to pick up a 1st down all the way down to our 28-yard line.
He might have had more if he hadn't hitched like that.
His guys look to be covered on that right side downfield. I didn't see anybody open, and neither did he. And he didn't look like he wanted to run it, Swish. He really looked like he wanted to throw that thing, but couldn't find anybody.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So they got it a 1st and 10 now, and they're getting close to the red zone here on our 28-yard line as the referees have a timeout called by the Sharks, and they blow the whistle. So we'll have a minute here to consider the situation.
A little bit of a head scratcher right now. We can't get this turnover on downs. They've had 3rd and long. They've had a couple of 4th and 4s, and give it to the Gators. They've converted.
They have, and really, it's their quarterback, when he's scrambling out of trouble, it's doing a lot of good for him here in this particular drive. They came out running. Well, they didn't start with it, but in the midst of the drive, they went to that weird formation where they had 3 wide receivers bunched on the right and the left, and just 2 guards and a center in the middle and a quarterback behind them. They generated a couple of plays for positive yardage out of that, but then they switched back to a more traditional look.
Little gimmicky, but hey, it worked for them.
They got about 2 minutes and 12 seconds if they're going to put some points on the board here in the first half. Now they've got 2 wing backs, a different formation altogether, as Hilliard drops, throws it over to the left side, complete. Picked up about 3 yards on that pass to number 1, Daquan Montgomery. Tez Spahn in on the carry.
And Max Mormon in on it again. He's having a kind of a quiet but good big night so far. Clock's ticking, Robert. I know the Land Sharks like their shutouts, so let's see if we can close out this first half with no points on the board for the Gators.
They're looking at a second down, 7 yards to go. The quarterback is all by his lonesome in the backfield, but he's got 5 wide receivers to consider throwing it to. He rolls out to the right side, but then throws back to the left. He had a man, but he couldn't quite get it. He was a little too tall, and there's a penalty flag in there, likely in holding territory. Haven't been a lot of penalties in this game, Swish, which is a good thing.
It's been a quick first half. We kicked off. It's less than an hour for the first half. It's moving and grooving.
That was a false start. It's only going to push him back 5 yards, so it wasn't a hold. That's the only good news for the Gators. Is there booing going on? Do I hear that?
Yeah, a lot of boo birds on our side. Maybe they're not happy with the referees. I don't know.
They haven't moved the line back yet either. The line of scrimmage is in the wrong place. All right, I guess that's about right.
Yeah, Coach Wilkes is almost out to the numbers, trying to figure out what in the world they're up to.
Well, now they're moving it back again.
False start, decline.
Decline the penalty. Okay. Well, that makes some sense. So now it's 3rd down and 7. Sanity has returned to Johnson Haygood finally. As they got 4 wideouts now facing a 3rd and long, likely throwing situation. He wants to throw it to his left, then he rolls to his right. Oh, my goodness. He's pressured at the last minute and throws it way over the head of 2 receivers who were holding hands in the end zone.
A pretty strong arm by 13. You rolling out to the right like that and threw a pretty good dart down into the end zone over the head of the receiver. It was pretty well covered up, so he's lucky he didn't get picked.
And I don't think they intended to have 2 receivers standing right next to each other.
They were hugging it up, weren't they?
So anyway, they got a 4th down now and about 6 yards to go, and they're of course going to go for it, trailing by 3 touchdowns, and they've gone for it in worse situations already in this game a couple of times, unable to convert it both times. They kind of rush back up to the line to see if they can catch us off guard. Hilliard takes the snap, but whistles blow before he can get it off. And that's likely going to delay a game. So they rushed back up to the line and still didn't get it off within the 25-second clock. And, man, that sky is just amazing. It's hard to look at the football field with the different colors these clouds are reflecting on the sunset tonight. It's just something about when there's a hurricane coming that makes everything a little bit weird in the Holy City. We got 3 wideouts on the right, 1 on the left. 4th down and about 12. Hilliard wants to throw it. He dances, has time, has a receiver wide open, completes it down to the 10-yard line. And, man, that was a nice throw and probably a busted coverage.
Absolutely busted coverage.
As number 1, Daquan Montgomery had plenty of room to catch that one on the 10-yard line. And now the Gators are knocking on the door for the first time tonight. The clock's running with about a minute to go. Let's see if the Sharks can continue with their 6th straight shutout quarter. They're going to run this one around the right. That's going nowhere. They really haven't been able to establish any kind of a running game here. That's going to make it 2nd goal on the 10.
Trey Brown on a good stop.
40 seconds, 39, clock moving, and Lake Marion calls a timeout. That'll, of course, stop the clock here with about half minute to go, a little bit more than that.
So, Robert, if we're looking at it, we haven't been scored upon since Carolina Forest, right?
I said 6 quarters because I know there were 4 in the last game.
We haven't been scored upon in 8 quarters.
Wow.
9 quarters.
Wow.
This would make it 10 if we can shut this down.
Well, I hope Dave Salazzo is down there reminding our guys they got a streak on the line here. Don't let these Gators get in our end zone. There's a lot we can do here with the Gators and the Land Sharks and the metaphors here tonight. Counting on you to bring some creativity to the game, Swish.
I'm just holding it back for the second half.
So is Lake Marion as they have it 2nd down and 10. They're knocking on the door. How many quarters in a row? 8?
9.
9 in a row. We've gone without allowing anybody into our end zone. As Hilliard's trying to get there, he drops, he's pressured, he rolls again. He's going to keep it, he's got lots of room on the left side, and Hilliard scores. I thought he scored, but yep, the hands are up by the referee, and sure enough, the Lake Marion Gators, a conference or Region 7 AA rival, is the first team to score on us in a while.
I think I'm going to stop talking because the last 2 things I've said have turned out poorly for the Sharks.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. There's something to that jinxing thing. And Lake Marion's going to go for 2 here. As Hilliard drops, again rushed. He had a receiver squatting down in the end zone, and he caught it. So now your score is going to be 21-8 with 30 seconds to go in the first half here at Johnson Haygood.
Hey, good momentum for them. They get the ball back to start the second half too, Robert.
I would like to know how long that drive consumed. That was a very long drive. I think the time of possession is going to weigh heavily in favor of Lake Marion here in the first half when we take a look at those numbers.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like, I may be wrong here, it just didn't feel like there's like a super sense of urgency on this last drive by our guys. And it just kind of like, And maybe some of that's a little bit of the lull of having to play a few days after a big win. That's always a trap kind of a game. But man, how can you not get up when you're playing in this stadium with that sunset going, with big streaks on the line, your first region game? I'd like to see a little bit more energy.
And Lake Marion, I think their quarterback is their kicker, Hilliard. Can't pick him up in my binoculars. No, it's not him. Yeah, it is. And he kicks a kind of a knuckleball down the middle. We've got it on the 20. I think that's Zach hanging on. Zach crosses the 50, the 45, the 40, all the way down to the 36-yard line. And in 8 seconds, he gets us inside Gator territory with an opportunity to put points on the board.
Boy, he got collared by the back of the shirt, and had that couple of fingers not gotten him, Robert, he would have been sitting in the end zone here.
Zach has a long touchdown on a kickoff return already this season. And he had a nice touchdown catch for us earlier in this game, and he's also playing stellar as a defensive back.
So, Robert, we've got 1 timeout, 22 seconds. Expect a couple of deep shots. You can get probably 3 plays off here if we want to take shots to the end zone.
We got Timmy Castine out there on the right guard position, and Ben Britton is the right tackle. Those guys playing both ways tonight. We got an injury still on our offensive line. As Edward takes the snap, fakes the handoff, looking, has all day long, throws it high. Oh, my goodness. Wide open all day long and in the end zone. Cole Strickler having a career tonight against Lake Marion.
Hey, we've been chanting his name a little bit here as of late. We hadn't seen a lot of action for Cole, but man.
And also, that was Devin Yard on the throw.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
No, are you sure?
100%.
Well, that's interesting. I'm wondering what's going on there. It wouldn't be typical to be putting Devin in to play at this point in the game. At any rate, we put the extra point up and answer quickly, taking only about
17 seconds.
17 seconds. You're in my head, man.
Yeah.
I was doing the math.
28-8. That one, that momentum I just talked about. See, here we go. I'm the momentum that they have and getting the ball back, and we just erased all of it right there. So,
yeah, we sure did. One thing that's interesting about Lake Marion, I noticed on that last drive, they take about 3 or 4 downs to get a first down every dang time.
They do.
They don't seem to want to get it on first or second down. That's not exciting enough.
Well, they make it hard on themselves. We've seen a lot of third and longs, fourth and mediums.
And quickly, we're going to look at a replay here of Cole Strickler's touchdown catch, his second one of the night. And you're saying that's Devin Yard at quarterback. he looked downfield and he saw Cole Strickler all alone on about the 10-yard line, and all he had to do was get it to him, and he did.
Boy, if that's I'm really happy for Devin to get that chance to throw the ball there. Good for Devin.
As Jake puts a boot into it, the receiver dropped it but picked it up, crossed the 15 to the 16-yard line. They're going to have 7 seconds now to do something or not as we come to near the close of the second quarter here on this Wednesday night lights game.
Doesn't sound right.
Doesn't have the same ring to it, does it? I don't think they're going to make a movie out of that.
No. I think you and I might be missing some of our juju tonight, too. I don't know. We're trying to make it happen.
Hey, I got all the energy in the world. I'm so glad to be healthy past that COVID thing that just about knocked me out this summer. And I think like Marion, they're not going to give up here on an opportunity. They got kind of an interesting lineup. Three guys bunched over on the right side. Quarterback faked the handoff, pressured. He's pressured again and finally sacked at about the 10-yard line.
He's slippery. He is tough to bring down. I like that 13.
He really is, and that was Maxie Mormon on that tackle as the first half comes to an end here at Johnson Haygood under a beautiful sunset in Charleston. We're leading this ball game by a score of 28-8 over our first Region 7AA foe of the season, the Lake Marion Gators. Not the Alligators, they're the Gators. So I think we're going to take a look at the halftime stats here, and we might take a break after that.
Thank you, Bill.
Halftime.
Bill Sandvig helping out on stats tonight. So total offense for the first half, Lake Marion with 138, and then Land Sharks 205. Number of plays, Lake Marion 31, Sharks 17. Passing, 72 for Lake Marion, 167 for Oceanside. They are 8 of 11. We're 6 of 6. And then rushing-wise, they've got us 66 yards to 38. We're not used to seeing that, right? That's kind of indicative of Vaughn Blue being on the sideline.
Yeah, but when you're throwing the ball 6 for 6 times.
Yep, you're right about that. 4 penalties for the Gators for 20 yards, 0 for the Sharks. No turnovers, no fumbles, no interceptions. First downs, they've got 8, we've got 9. I'm trying to find time of possession here. Where is that? Because that's going to be, that's the one you were talking about, right? So see
I'm real curious.
There it is. 16, almost 17 minutes to our 7. So they've had the ball 10 more minutes than we've had, but I'll take our score versus those extra 7 minutes.
Yeah, the defense of the Gators not matching up very well with the high-powered offense we've got, even without our all-star running back Vaughn Blue, who's out for this game and the next few games as a result of a fractured thumb. And you know what's crazy about that? Vaughn Blue fractured that thumb in the Sumter game in like the first quarter. It was early, and then he played the whole game with it. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, I just tells you how tough that kid is, and I tell you what, if you could wrap that thing up right now, he probably would come back out and try to run the ball tonight.
So we're going to take a break here, wet our whistle, as the halftime cheerleader show goes on here, and Tyler Kraftchick, our Cracker Jack videographer, back in where he belongs, behind that camera. And we'll be back for the third quarter shortly.
Move your block. How are you getting those replays? They have the ball for over 10 minutes.
Welcome back to Johnson Haygood on a Wednesday hurricane night. The first region game of the season for the Land Sharks, who lead their opponents from Lake Marion High School by a score of 28-0. And Swish, the Gators' best defense has definitely been their offense, especially on that crazy last drive they had.
Yeah, it took over 10 minutes, 18 plays. They converted on 3rd and 10, 3rd and 13. I believe they had a couple of fourth downs in there as well, too. They like making it a little bit dramatic, don't they?
They do, and they did not convert once on the first or second down, only on 3rd and 4th, and all of them over 10 yards.
Yep, you're right.
That's highly unusual.
I think it was the both of us jinxing with number 13 running and talking about that shutout on consecutive quarters, so we need to pipe down that rhetoric.
Yeah, and I can tell you who's not going to like that third down conversion rate very much, and that's our head coach and defensive coordinators. Kickoff now to Lake Marion to start this second half, and they deferred, so they have it, and boy, that's going to be, I think, some kind of unnecessary roughness.
Yeah, there were 2 blocks in the back. One they did not see, and the other one they just saw. So that's what my hunch is going to be.
I don't know. The way that guy went out of bounds, we'll see what they call. Maybe they have a smorgasbord of penalty choices here. At any rate, Lake Marion got it all the way up to the 24-yard line where they're going to take it over, 1st and 10. And it's a holding, you're right, illegal block on the receiving team, and then a face mask on the defense. So sure enough, they offset, and they're going to do it all over again. So Lake Marion has a couple guys deep. Dequan Montgomery has done a lot of damage for them tonight. And number 4, Keith McCoon, is out there as well. McCoon on the near side and Montgomery on the far side. And again, I don't know if you can hear the wind, but it's whipping, and Lake Marion is going to be facing that wind again here in this third quarter. But, you know, it didn't seem to slow them down much.
It did not. Let's see if Jake can get this one up in the air and let the wind carry it into the end zone, prevent a run back.
And I don't know what happened here. Jake was about to kick it, and then the whistles blew, and the referee's signaling something
I
down
think
there.
they reset the clock to 12 minutes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. So now Jake Rook looks to put this one down there, and it goes through the end zone, but I'm not sure. There's a flag down. Offsides on the kicking team, so we're going to get pushed back 5 yards and kick it for a third time.
They could have called it on the first kickoff. I noticed someone on our right side was over the line. That's just sloppy.
Well, it's a Wednesday night game, and, you know, you've been playing really tough teams from 4A and 5A conferences all year long. Not surprising there would be a letdown.
Little Cole Hamilton, man, get
And the ball, okay, you said.
the ball boy.
Cole Hamilton runs on and off the field.
And he just took that one about 60 yards pretty quickly, too.
Okay, let's put this ball in play. And it's going to go into the end zone.
So why would they not try to return that?
They could have. Either one of those guys could have gotten to it. It looked to me like it was right between the two deep guys. At any rate, maybe Lake Marion thought it was better off to just take it on the 20-yard line. So at any rate, they're going to come back out, and we're going to see how long they can go converting on 3rd and 4th downs.
I don't think we've had a 3-and-out on them, have we?
Maybe. I'm not sure. That second drive didn't last very long, but I can't remember for sure.
We look confused right now.
Well, they've got an empty backfield as the quarterback drops back. He has plenty of room to run down the middle, and he sees it and takes advantage of it, slides down across the 40 at the 41-yard line. And again, you know, he's sliding in there like he's an NFL quarterback.
He knows what he's doing.
He's quick. He can run. They seemingly don't want to run him. But there they go, converting a first down on a first down play, and that's the first time in a while. All I had to do was bring the issue up, and there you go.
You know, I'm surprised we haven't seen any turnovers here yet. See what I'm doing there?
I do. I absolutely. I see what you're doing there. So now they're going with 4 wide outs. Hilliard, the quarterback, standing on his own 35, drops back, throws it across the middle. It's complete. Another first down for the Gators, as that wide receiver has it all the way down to our 42-yard line. They're untangling that pile. Number 5 was the receiver there. That's Jalen Davis.
And there's another first down conversion.
Swish, 28-8. That's only a 20-point lead. We better get our P's and Q's on the right page here, if that's a thing.
I think it might be.
And the Gators, again, they're going with the 5 wide outs. Hilliard dropping back. Plenty of time, really. Hits number 9 in the left flat. He's brought down immediately after a gain of about 3. Mason Miles gets the credit for that catch. And they look like they might not be so interested in running that ball anymore, Swish, unless it's the quarterback.
Well, they know if they've got to make up this deficit, they've got to score and score quickly. 10-minute drives is not going to beat the Land Sharks.
Nope, you can't do it when you're trailing like this in the second half over and over again. And, of course, it'd be kind of a miracle if you could put those back-to-back anyway. But, again, they got the 5 wide outs, and it's going to be a sack of Hilliard, the quarterback, and that'll cost him about 5 yards or so, push him back to the original line of scrimmage, where now the Gators are going to look at a 3rd down and about 11 to go for a first as we cross the 10-minute mark, 3rd quarter. Oceanside leading this game 28-8, their first region game of the season against this team from Lake Marion.
Santee,
thank you. I'm drawing a blank on the town. I wanted to say Socastee, and that wasn't it. 4 wide outs now for Hilliard. He's got a running back there with him who swings out to the right side, but this looked like a designed run, and the quarterback falls down before he can get back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, you got to think, if I'm that quarterback, we've got some pretty good coverage on those receivers, and he knows that he can get yards if he ejects and he gets out of that pocket. And he thought about it, and he actually slipped when he went down there, but I think he might have had some big yards.
They've had some completion success across the middle of the field, probably when our linebackers were coming up to protect against the run, and there was a little gap left there. Also, some quick outs to either side. Now, here's something unusual. They're going to punt the ball from our 46-yard line, and Hilliard, number 13, is also their punter, so he's got 2 wide outs. But a penalty flag comes down. A delay of game is the call. So
that's the 4th one on them.
That'll push them back 5 more, of course, and that back into their own territory at about the 49-yard line. So Hilliard, again, gets ready, and if he was thinking about a fake, that penalty probably cramped his style a little bit. Boy, the Gamecocks have had a nice fake or two this season.
Get away
Short
from it.
punt.
Get away from it.
It's going to land at the 30. It's going to take a Land Shark bounce up to the 34-yard line, and that's where we're going to take it over. Our last drive consumed 17 seconds, if I recall correctly.
Yep. Let's see if we can make that last a little bit longer, but if it ends in a score, I don't care.
It looks like Devin Yard's coming back out as well.
So Devin Yard out there for his first significant playing time this season. And you're right, he is there, number 7. And somebody check and make sure Edwards okay. I know it's not crazy that Devin would be playing. Edwards walking around on the sidelines, looks fine. We put Trey Brown in motion. Yard takes it, hands it off.
Dylan
Baker, I'm like, who is that guy? All the way down to the 44-yard line. And Dylan showing some wheels there. We all know he's the big, strong guy, but he looked pretty darn fast there. And
he's
Coach
quick.
Wilkes has said that he has speed, and he's even talked about playing him at wide receiver some. Dylan again, this time on the left side. Dylan gets the edge, 30, 25, 20. A flag is down as Dylan gets all the way to the 6-yard line. And that's going to be a holding penalty likely and bring that play back. But nice to see Dylan Baker out there getting some running back time. And Tuck Swish, number 22, is going to come out there now, and he'll take over at running back.
Well, after a couple of big, long runs like that, let Dylan get his breath. But we knew it was going to be a running back by committee night, and I think if this recipe works, we might see that for the rest of the region play until VB 24 gets back.
So the referees take us all the way to the 50-yard line, where we're right in the middle of the field now on the left hash. And we'll see what Devin Yard can do with this offense, as he has 4 wideouts, 3 to the right, 1 to the left. Tuck Swisher goes out to his left, running a wheel route. Deep downfield, wide open, complete. Is it that same guy again?
It is.
Oh, my goodness. Cole Strickler is putting together some tape to send out to the college recruiters tonight. His yardage total has got to be well over 100 at this point as we rush back up to the line of scrimmage. Lake Marion quickly getting back into place. Devin Yard takes it, hands this one off to the running back, and he's brought back in the backfield, and I'm not sure who that was.
That was Dylan. He looked awkward there. He's got to get the ball out of his right hand, get in his left hand, and use that right arm to stiff arm and get out. So
looked like he's hobbling a little.
Yeah, that looked awkward. Something's not right there.
So I think AJ, no, it's Tucker who's back in there.
That's a big loss.
Yeah, it's number 22 now is going to be back as the running back, and we're going to go with the 4 wide out set. We haven't gone with the H-back at all here on this particular drive, as Devin Yard wants to toss it to Trey Brown across the middle. A little bit too high for Trey to bring that one in at the 10-yard line. Now we're going to have a 3rd down, and that's the first incompletion of the night for any quarterback wearing a blue jersey. And that's pretty impressive. They'll call them, what are they, 7 for 8, something like that, maybe 8 for 9. As Devin gets ready to take the snap, looking all day long to throw it, and has it complete in the end zone. Touchdown.
Nope, dropped it.
Well, Zach Hagedon, who had a touchdown catch earlier tonight, was there, but that one eluded him, and so
when he hit the ground pretty hard on his back, I think that forced him to bobble it up.
Sure looked like it was a catch for a little bit there.
Hey, great strike, great throw by Devin Yard. It was the right read, the right throw, just needed to lock it down.
And now we're going for it on 4th down on the 15-yard line. Devin wants to throw it again into the end zone, has a man over on the right side, but he was covered. And a penalty flag comes in, and that may well be an interference penalty. Cole Strickler, the intended receiver. And there were, Swish, I saw the receiver and the defensive back kind of battling each other a little bit. I'm not sure which way this one's going to go.
Well, probably going to go into the defense, and it
does.
is. They both looked like they were fighting and tugging to get to the same spot.
So we're at the 7:02 mark here in the 3rd quarter, and the Sharks hoping to take advantage of a pass interference penalty in the end zone, which they incurred on an attempt to convert a 4th down and 15 from the 15, 4th and goal. And now it's going to be still 4th down, no automatic first down for that penalty. That doesn't seem right to me, but I think that's the rule. The ball's on the 7-yard line, so Devin is going to get another opportunity here to throw one into the end zone. He's got Zach Hagedon out to the right. He's got Bryce Bennett over there on the right side, but he's going to hand it to Tuck Swisher, I think. Is he in the end zone for a touchdown? Tuck Swisher, number 22, playing his first game tonight after overcoming an injury he incurred in the preseason, and man, I'm glad to see that guy get some points in his pocket as he jumps up and gives a high butt 5, I guess you call that, I don't know, a bump or something to one of his teammates.
Well, I'm going to tell you it wasn't a super high 5 because his vertical is not the best.
I wasn't going to say that, but you got a point there.
I'm pretty happy for the kid. He's worked hard to get back, and had a boy swish.
And the extra point kick is up and good. So the Sharks now have a 35-8 lead here with about 7 minutes to go in the third quarter against Lake Marion. Devin Yard in there getting some time at quarterback, relieving Edward Rodenbach. Edward went 6 for 6 while he was in the game. Scoring tonight, the first touchdown, Edward threw it to Zach Hagedon for 25 yards. And then on our second touchdown, Edward threw it to Cole Strickler for 51 yards. Cole's got a whole bunch of them tonight. Our third touchdown came from A.J. Johnson, who ran it in from 7 yards out. After that, Lake Marion put points on the board for the first time in 9 quarters against any team has put points on us for 9 quarters against the Land Sharks. And then Edward actually, completed the other touchdown to Cole Strickler again for 38 yards. As this kickoff goes into the end zone, and it's going to be a touchback.
Robert, they're not even trying. They basically have conceded. They're up on the 10-yard line. They make no attempt to it, so it's obviously by design. You would think with that deficit that they have, a run back is a quick strike that they could really use, but they're not giving themselves that opportunity.
Cole Strickler has 141 yards receiving tonight, and I'd like to see him get over the 200-yard mark.
That may happen.
It might. They've certainly got their eye on Cole tonight, and I think there must be a mismatch over on that side of our offense too. As this is a handoff, the Gators haven't been running it too much here in the second half. Number 12 is in there. He's kind of slow getting up, unfortunately. That's Torrington White. And the Gators have had a running back by committee tonight, switching around between Torrington White and Jalen Davis and Xavion Washington. It's taken him a while to get up. He's obviously injured as both teams filter over to the sidelines. When they come back, Lake Marion will be looking at a second down and about 8 yards to go.
Come on, kid. There he goes. 12 is sitting up.
He's sitting up now. That's a good sign. The Sharks scored 14 points in the first quarter, 14 points in the second quarter. Devin Yard been going all the way for us at quarterback on offense here in the third quarter, and he put a touchdown on the board. Actually, it was a handoff to Tuck Swisher. And that would be our 5th touchdown of the day. We seem to be on a pace of hitting a couple touchdowns every quarter. Lake Marion using a lot of clock in the first half on their offensive drives. One drive, one of which, if you didn't hear us saying earlier, was 18 plays, I think it was.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Every conversion was on 3rd or 4th down and for over 10 yards. So that was a pretty exciting way to move the ball downfield, and it consumed a lot of the clock. Hilliard now at the quarterback, puts his H-back in a motion left to right. He takes the snap, then's going to hand it off to number 6 in the backfield, and he's pulled down for a loss on the play.
A.J. Zarzaka and Ben Britton giving him nowhere to go.
Yeah, I think that was Mike Jones also, our freshman.
Mike Jones going to be making a lot of tackles for the Land Sharks in his career. He's a 14-year-old freshman out there starting, or if not starting, getting an awful lot of playing time on our defensive line. Quarterback all by his lonesome self. In the backfield now, he's got 5 wideouts. He's definitely going to throw it on a 3rd and 11 over the head of his intended receiver deep downfield. That's going to make it 4th down, bring up a punting situation for the Gators.
Yeah, we have a flag on the field as well.
I saw you pointing, but I couldn't see the flag. Now it's disguised on the 20-yard line, I think. There it is. Let's see what the referees are going to call there. They're having a conversation. It looks like a friendly one. Ineligible man downfield against Lake Marion. So that's not going to help their cause much at all. And looks like we're declining it, so they have it now 4th down and 11. Punting situation for their quarterback / punter, number 13, Hilliard. And I don't think they'd try a fake punt at this point on the field, but they are at a point of being somewhat desperate here, trailing by a score of 35-8. Hilliard takes it, high snap, but he gets the punt off. Again, not a very deep one, but it's going to push us up to about the Lake Marion 47-yard line, where we will take it over 1st and 10.
Those kind of punts always scare me because our guys are downfield trying to set up for blocks, and it always hits in the back. We saw that on our JV squad a couple times, so a little bit of better execution on this from the varsity squad.
And our offense huddles up down there. Edward Reidenbach in the middle of that huddle, but he's not wearing his helmet because he's not coming in yet right now at quarterback. Instead, number 7, Devin Yard, the senior transfer, is going to get a lot of playing time tonight. Nope, they got a different one. Virgilio, number 13, now in at quarterback for the Land Sharks. So Will Virgilio going to get his chance after Devin had a touchdown drive. And Will has got a running back with him to his right side. That's A.J. Johnson, number 9. Virgilio drops, throws it on his first play, complete at the 40, down inside the 35, across the 30, down to the 29-yard line.
Bryce Bennett on that reception.
I was trying to figure that out. Bryce Bennett, who's been our solid and steady hands receiver this season. I bet you he doesn't have a dropped pass all season.
He's got one. Remember last week he had a big drop down here, but he came back and had 2 big receptions, but he's pretty sure-handed.
So Will Virgilio gets a first down on his first play of this game from scrimmage as we've got it 1st and 10. A.J. Johnson with the handoff, bulling his way down to the 25-yard line. That'll make the down and distance 2nd down and 4. Make it 5.
Hey, Swish, it looks like we have a bunch of new receivers. I don't know if you know who they are.
Yeah, 14 on this side is Gavin Gaspar. 5 is Logan Hamilton.
21, Kyle Baldwin out on the left.
Yep.
As Will, this is the first time this season that there's been any significant playing time for some of these guys. As a little swing pass to the right side proves unsuccessful. As that pass is broken up. Intended for number 5, Logan Hamilton, whose brother is the ball boy who we saw running around on the field. And, in fact, he's running around out there right now in the blue sweatshirt.
He's a good little quarterback. He's a lefty, a southpaw. Quick.
3rd and 5 now for the Sharks. Will Virgilio in at quarterback, looking over to his sideline for some guidance from the gurus over there.
Play clock is running down.
Lake Marion looks like they might blitz, and the clock ran down, but he got it off, I guess, just in time, and a sack for Lake Marion. And that really is the first pressure of the night. Number 30 coming in to make that tackle for the Gators. That's Carl Capers, and he's a freshman. They got a few freshmen on this team with significant playing time.
That bodes well for them in the upcoming years, Robert. They may, we don't know much about Lake Marion. This may be a down year for them. We don't know because we don't know them, but they are getting great playing time at a young stage.
Yeah, they don't look bad at all. As Will drops back and hurls this one all the way down to the end zone, and he has it. Touchdown, Land Sharks.
Gavin Gaspar, number 14. Man, Will took a monster hit and got right back up and screamed down the field to congratulate his receiver.
Only the 2nd quarterback pressure of the night, but Will Virgilio manages to get that touchdown pass off and put us across the 40-point mark in this game as the Sharks now lead it 41-8. And as Mr. Mahoney comes in and try and kick that extra point. Wind is to his back. And it's been blowing that way all night long, west to east. as we have a guy coming out a little bit late on our special teams unit. And it's up and good. So 42-8 now your score at Johnson Haygood, the home field for the Oceanside Land Sharks, leading their first region opponent of the year, the Lake Marion Gators. And Swish, it's good to see some of these younger guys getting some playing time. We've played 3 quarterbacks tonight.
Yeah, Bill Sandvik just told us 6 possessions, 6 touchdowns. It's not a bad, not a bad batting average. You're a baseball guy.
True that, and that's 100%, I think. Yeah, it is.
That is.
Okay.
That is.
I'm not a math guy.
Sorry, I was talking about 100%. Our extra points, are we 100% throughout the season?
We are. I'm pretty sure of that. I was going to say earlier.
On the kicks. I'm not going to substantiate that because when I do something like that, we.
I'm sure he missed one in there.
Well, you know, we worried a lot about our special teams because we lost our kickoff artist as Jake puts this one into the end zone and as Lake Marion takes a touchback. But we worried because we lost an excellent punter and we lost to graduation, a great kicker. And we really haven't skipped much of a beat in that department.
Not yet. Not yet.
We did lose our punter in our last game, who's also our quarterback, Edward Rodenbach. But again, we had a backup come right in there. I can't remember the second.
Jake Rook.
Jake Rook, that's right.
Yeah, well, you know, it's one of the – we may be short on terms of numbers of players, but this next man up concept, we've got guys that are willing and able to get in and get the job done when someone goes down.
So the quarterback, Hilliard, fakes the handoff, keeps it, and he's having a nice run all the way across the 50 down to the 43-yard line. And that Lake Marion quarterback has really been a good athlete for them tonight. Navian Hilliard, he's been able to throw the ball. I'll find out in a minute how many pass attempts he's had, but he's also rushed it a good bit, usually trying to get out of trouble, but that one was a definite quarterback design run.
He might have over 100 yards rushing.
Now it's a 1st and 10 on the 42-yard line of the Sharks. We don't like seeing these guys in our territory, but they've been in there a few times tonight. As the running back number 6, Xavion Washington, gets another carry. That'll make it second down, and about 7.
Good tracking there by Max Mormon, not let him get that corner and go down the sideline.
We got A.J. Johnson in there at linebacker right now, along with number 33, A.J. Zarzaka.
It's a good football name, isn't it?
It is. And they're looking at a second down and about 7 to go, a little bit more than that. Lake Marion trying to put some more points on the board, but they used too much of the play clock. And not the play clock, but the other clock. And so that's going to cost them 5 yards.
You're right, the play clock.
The play clock.
I think their 6th time that they've they were I think that's
a lot
6th time.
Yeah, a lot of delay of game penalties. As the quarterback takes a low snap, rolls around to the right side. Oh my gosh! Whoa! I just mentioned A.J. Johnson, and he puts the tag on that receiver, who number 5, I think it was. He probably regrets he caught that one. Jalen Davis. Actually, the PA announcer says that was Mason Miles, which could very well be the case on the reception.
And it was Trey Brown that picked him up and not so gently put him down.
You're right. Trey is in there now at middle linebacker.
That was a monster tackle.
It really was. I'm glad you gave him credit for that. 3rd down, 5.5 yards to go. They've converted a lot of 3rd downs tonight. A penalty flag comes in as the quarterback throws it over to the left side. Number 1, Daquan Montgomery, who's caught a lot of passes tonight, caught that one, but in all likelihood it's going to be for naught. And we'll see what the referees are going to do with this one. Chad Wilkes, as it's a call on the offense, procedure penalty. Chad Wilkes, 30-year-old first-year head coach at Oceanside, having one heck of a season. He's only lost one ball game, and that was only by 1 point, and that was to an excellent South Florence team. Now he's facing off against his first region foe, and Lake Marion has a 4th and 4, and they're going to go for it. They run up to the line of scrimmage. They got 5 wideouts, looking like they're going to pass it, but I bet that quarterback finds a way to run it.
You might be right.
He drops, he throws it behind his receiver, so it's incomplete.
He didn't have a whole lot of time. I'm surprised he even got that off. He was backpedaling from the get-go.
Yeah, how many guys did we have in the backfield? Looked like 5 or 6.
Yeah, a lot of blue back there.
So now the issue of the moment is who's going to come out and be the quarterback.
Well, it'd be interesting to see if Coach Wilkes is going to alternate quarterbacks as well. They haven't had a whole lot of time getting reps or snaps, and so I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't go back and forth with those guys.
Will Virgilio is running out there, number 13. I thought he was Tanner Swisher the first time he came out because Tanner's
that's
13.
his number typically, but he's wearing 17 tonight. But
so Will has Tucker to his right, has a bad snap. Fall on it, Tucker. He did. I think Will actually wound up picking that ball up. But Tucker was quick to dive down there. Surely one of them was going to get it, but that cost us 5. So now we're looking at 2nd down and 5. Clock at the 1:20 mark, 3rd quarter. Sharks up 42-8. But, the score's lopsided, but this Lake Marion team, as I mentioned earlier, has come in and really played hard and played well tonight. As Will gets ready to try and get us closer to a 1st down than 15 yards, which is where we are now. He wants to hurl it downfield. We got 2 guys there, and oh my goodness, running backwards, the receiver makes the catch at the 26-yard line.
that's, again, Gavin Gaspar. He has got one of the surest set of hands on the club. He's only a second-year player. But, man, what a great receiver he's turned into be.
No kidding. He was literally running backwards to make that catch as he fell backwards. And I said Will was going to try and get us closer to a 1st down, and he converted it. So now we have it 1st and 10 on the 28, 27-ish yard line as our offense looks over to the sideline. Tuck Swisher, number 22, in there at running back.
Play clock.
Play clock's gone. Snap it. Nope.
Come
too
on,
late.
guys.
That's going to happen occasionally.
I think that's the first penalty on us tonight, is it not? We had a face mask that was declined.
There were some
offsetting.
Offset, yeah. I'm not sure if there was one that actually was marched off, though. That one cost us 5. Let's try this again, guys, as we have 4 wideouts. No tight end. Hand off to Tucker. Tucker's got some room on the left side. Tuck Swisher. Tuck crosses the 20-yard line. Gets us right at the edge of the red zone. Getting close to the end of the 3rd quarter here. I think that clock's going to run down before we get another playoff, and it is. So we're going to flip the field now, and the blue jerseys will be going right to left when they try and close this game out. They've got a lead now of 42-8.
There's a new rule in high school this year from the high school league. By 42 points, it's an automatic running clock. So we're not there quite yet, and if we score again, we probably won't be there yet either, right? So.
Well, we've been consistent. We've put 14 points on the board every quarter, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Lake Marion did put the first touchdown on us that we've had in 9 quarters. Goes all the way back through the game where we shut out
Marlboro County.
Not Marlboro County.
Sumter
last week, and then Marlboro County the week before that.
And so it was against Carolina Forest, which was our 3rd game of the season. So,
and We're focused on the game here tonight, and we don't want to over-tout our guys, but this looks like probably the best Land Shark team we've ever had here under our new head coach.
Pretty well complimented, and again, I like Chad Wilkes coming from a single-A school and mentality. He's going to get a lot out of his players, maybe more than most, but he's got them humming along right now for sure.
Will Virgilio back in at quarterback, has Tuck Swisher with him in there. Also has an H-back over on the left side. Tucker gets the handoff, nothing doing. Lots of white jerseys meet him, and he maybe picked up an inch, but I doubt it.
It wasn't a whole lot of room to run there, but
again, good to see Tuck, the senior, out there playing tonight. He was hurt early but in the preseason, so this is his first game action of the year.
yeah, it's good. I'm excited to talk to him after the game, see how it felt to get hit again and get back into the groove of things.
And I'm sure he's going to give you long, descriptive answers. As Virgilio takes the handoff to Tuck Swisher, speak of the devil. And Tucker picks up a first down as he carries it down to the 13-yard line. And again, the Land Sharks are knocking on the door. Now Swish is going to come off the field.
Cale Gilchrist in at running back now, number 37.
Thank you. We're going to stick with the 4 wide outs as Virgilio, the quarterback, gets ready for the snap. He has it, hands it off to the running back, Gilchrist, and he gets it down to about, but almost to the 10-yard line. Give him a couple on that carry. Cale also plays a lot of linebacker for us on defense.
Cale's a strong kid. He's tough to bring down, so.
He's listed as a defensive lineman on this roster. He's a sophomore. I don't think he's a D lineman, though.
He used to be playing there a little bit, but moved him back to linebacker on that side of the ball.
He's going to stay in there at running back now. Takes another handoff. Gets to the 10. They wrestle with him. The Gators bring him down. Gilchrist unable to pick up anything there, so now we're looking at a third down and about 8 yards to go for the first. If the Sharks score here, we'll get a running clock, which candidly would suit me fine. Weird night all the way around here as the hurricane moving across Florida, heading our way. We don't know exactly how much of that remnants we're going to get, but we move this game back to Wednesday because Friday's going to be a mess as Will Virgilio backs and throws it into the end zone and has a touchdown. Nope, incomplete. Boy, I thought that was going to be a touchdown to number 21, Kyle Baldwin, but he couldn't quite find the handle on that one. Might have been a little bit too open, I don't know. But now we're going to face a 4th down and 8, and we're going to try a field goal. We haven't kicked a lot of field goals this season, Swish.
No, I was just trying to sit and think back when we've seen one, if we have, but this is going to be a 28-yarder by Quinn Mahoney.
Quinn Mahoney, perfect for the year on his extra point attempts, but a flag is going to go down and spoil this party.
Let's back it up and make it a 32-yarder.
That's much more of a challenge for him. I'm sure he's welcoming that. Nobody wants things to be easy. Tyler Kraftchick up here operating the camera for us tonight. Thanks a lot, Tyler. We missed you.
So much better than his dad.
No doubt. Oh, bad snap. And that's going to be a well, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a conversion for Lake Marion. They'll have it 1st and 10 on their own 26-yard line. And we got to also give credit to Crystal Kraftchick, who's definitely the best looking of the crew. And she's done the Crystal Cam for us tonight. And we've had some good replays of several of these big touchdown passes we had in the first half. The first of which was to Jace Kraftchick. Looked like he came out to score a touchdown and then decided, I'm going to take it easy the rest of the night.
You fellas got this.
We didn't even think he was going to play. He's nursing a little groin injury. As Lake Marion now has it 1st and 10, kind of deep in their own territory. It's a handoff to a new running back.
Took number 27.
Around the left side. So if it's number 27, that would be Micah Clark. He's a junior, 5'7", 140 pounds. Another kind of slightly built fella.
Good pickup, though.
Yeah, they picked up 6 yards. They're looking at 2nd down and 4 now. The Gators of Lake Marion wanting to put some more points on the board as the quarterback keeps this one. Looked like a design run, but we hooked him right at the line of scrimmage.
That's one of Timmy's little ballet moves there. Spins his guy around, and we saw last week, gently puts them down to the ground.
And you know, Timmy, we called his name a lot last week. He's been kind of quiet today. I'm sure he's clogging up that middle, but he's not terrorizing quite the way he did last week.
Well, based on what he did Friday night, I'd still be tired if I'm him.
No joke. So Lake Marion now trying to convert on a 3rd down and 4. Quarterback looked like they got mixed up. He got tackled for a loss all the way back at the 25.
Big loss by Mike Jones there.
Good to see the 14-year-old Mike Jones in there getting a tackle for a loss. I think there was a mix-up in the backfield, Swish.
Yeah, that didn't look too coordinated, did it?
But this Lake Marion team, who's about to punt this one away, has looked like a very well-coached team tonight. You know, they've had a bunch of delay-of-game penalties, which is sloppy. But other than that, you know, they've tried some trickeration. And, you know, they can't run the ball on the Sharks, so they've passed it when they could. Look to be finding opportunities in their passing game. And at this point, they're kind of out of it. And there's a timeout.
By Lake Marion, it's almost as if they're thinking about if we're going to go for it or not.
Well, why not, man?
Yeah, let's say the game's pretty well at hand for the Land Sharks, and so I think the quarterback was the one pointing like, "Hey, let's at least go for it." So
we mentioned Chad Wilkes, the head coach of the Sharks. He's got a crackerjack coaching staff put together this year.
Yeah, we've got a new coach too, Dylan Colley, and that name, he was a great receiver for BYU in Hawaii. His brother Austin Colley played for the Colts and the Patriots, and he is a Mount Pleasant resident. And we somehow found a way. It was old Megan Hamilton. Found out that he lived in their neighborhood. She said, "You need to coach for the Land Sharks."
Nice move, Megan. Always thinking about how she can improve these Land Sharks. A great contributor to the Black and Blue Club. As we're going to look at a punt here from Lake Marion and Hilliard. This is best punt of the night. And it was a fair catch right about the 39-yard line by Zach Hagedon, I think. Yeah, that was Zach. So we're going to have some good field position here, and we'll see who's going to, if Will Virgilio is going to come back in at quarterback or if maybe Devin Yard's going to get another turn. Looks like Edward Ridenback and his big mane of blonde hair is going to be hanging out on the sidelines.
Got the Swisher boys in the backfield for the first time.
How about that? I didn't know. You told me he was number 17. I should have registered that he's playing tonight, but that's Tanner Swisher, of course, who starts for our JV team, and now he's going to have an opportunity to play with the big guys, and he's got his brother to his left. What a great moment for Land Sharks and for the Swish family. And Tanner is never going to hear the end of that one. He dropped the snap, unable to give it off. I think the plan was to give that one to Tanner, but they'll get another chance. As they're looking now at he probably was thinking, I don't want to give it to Tucker. I really want to throw it. So let me drop this ball, get a loss, and now I have an opportunity to throw the ball. Tanner takes it and gives it to Tucker.
Jeez.
Tucker not able to do much there.
3 people in the backfield.
So now they're going to be looking at a 3rd down and long, about 16 or 18 yards or so. Big Mike Jones is in there on the offensive line right now. Along with Ben Britton and Finn Johnson and Jackson Heineman.
He's a freshman.
Tanner has the low snap. He does indeed throw this one downfield. It's a floater, though. And his receiver wasn't close to catching that one. So now we're facing a 4th down and a likely punting situation as number 10 comes back out there, Jake Rook, to do his duties. 6:14 to go, 42-8 your score. Kind of a breezy night here in Charleston. Jake with the black wrap on his left ankle boots this one. And it's a line drive that pushes the receiver all the way back to his 26. He runs it about 10 yards towards us, and that'll give the Gators a 1st and 10.
Great tackle by Kyle Baldwin getting downfield and stopping that return.
Keith McCoon was the returner number 4 for Lake Marion. Lake Marion has not substituted anybody. Well, they did substitute a running back on their last drive, but their quarterback is still in there, and it looks like he's just going to go all the way for him. That, of course, is Hilliard, who's done most of the damage for them tonight, either throwing it or running it, and he's got 27 again with him in the backfield now, and we identified him previously as Micah Clark.
Coach Wilkes took time out for Oceanside. He's emptying the bench now. You mentioned Jackson Heineman. He's a freshman. I see a couple of other freshman JV players that he's brought up to get some good varsity time and reps. So when they break that huddle, I'll be able to tell you, I think, who's who.
Hey, real quick, I got a replay of Tuck's first touchdown.
All right, let's see it. During this timeout, there's the handoff, and Tuck goes around the right side. They tried to pull him down before he could cross the goal line, but he was not to be denied.
I see Graham Robinson is in the game, one of the Crady boys. Jackson Heineman, Maxie Mormon still out, Johnny Gunn. CJ Moskos is in at DB for us as well.
And Navian Hilliard, the quarterback, hands it off to the junior running back, number 27. He tries to get the edge. He picked up about 7 or 8 yards on that carry. He had a nice carry earlier in the game on their last drive as well.
So Joey Harriet, true freshman, number 40, is in, replacing Max Mormon at middle linebacker. Joey's a great linebacker, great speed. Excited to see him get a couple of reps here.
And Lake Marion spreading it out on offense with 4 wideouts, but the quarterback fumbled it and just fell on it. That's going to only lose about 3 for him. Well, no, it's a lot more than 3. It's 3 yards behind the original line of scrimmage. More like 10-yard loss. So now they're looking at 3rd down and about 13 to go as the clock passes the 5-minute mark here on this Wednesday, this windy Wednesday, but not as windy as it will be on Friday, which is why this game was moved to Wednesday.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. And a handoff, the running back.
That's a hold, yep.
Lots of flags in there.
And that would have been a big sack for loss. They had Tuck held on the corner there. That one's going to get pushed back. No, they're going to decline it, which is smart.
4th down, 4:44 to go on the clock here in the 4th quarter. See, I pick up on things like that.
4:44.
That's a sign
Here comes another punt.
that the game is almost over.
We'll see if we have our 5th quarterback in front. I see Tanner still warming up, but Gavin Welch. Let's see if Gavin can get a shot to get in and get a series tonight. It'd be great.
Tanner is over there warming up. So is Gavin. You're right. One good thing about not having a JV game this week as these guys are eligible to play.
We were supposed to have traveled up to play Gray tomorrow night. I don't know if that game will get rescheduled. It doesn't feel like it. But you got to imagine with all these cancellations and movements, we'll have a couple of opponents hopefully be available for the next couple of weeks to pick up an extra game.
Why didn't they play Gray earlier when we played Gray?
I don't think Gray wanted to play. Maybe I'm not sure. Maybe they needed the day to get ready for their varsity game.
Well, we sure whipped them.
Yeah, that was week 0.
Zach Hagan on with a fair catch at the 40-yard line. And you're right, Scott. That was, that was when I kind of figured we might have us a pretty good team this year when we played Gray. We've never played Gray Collegiate like that.
Always been barn burners, goes down to the last series or last possession mostly, but that was a convincing win. They started out 0-3, but they're back on track. They're ranked 5th in 2A right now. Well coached, good athletes, and if we see them again, it'll be in the
should be the state
championship because they're upper state, right?
Yes.
And where are the Sharks ranked right now in AA? Number 1, right where you want to be. But, of course, that doesn't mean anything. What means something is how far they can go in the playoffs after the regular season ends. The real season starts in November. Quarterback takes the snap. I think that's Gavin.
It is Gavin. He handed it off to number 40, Joey Harriet. So we've got basically, I'm trying, let me take a look at our line real quick. We still have, there's Fenn Johnson. See, Nathan Cook is in. Crady boys are in. Jackson Heineman. That's an all JV line that we've got in right now.
Nathan Cook is in there.
Yep. JV line except for Mike Jones, but great to get these guys some experience on the varsity level.
Well, Mike Jones is not a JV player, but he is 14 years old.
That boy Joey.
Oh, my goodness. Joey takes the handoff, and he's just blowing his way down to the 21-yard line.
I got to tell you, that kid he's a great trackster. He is also a state medalist swimmer as well. Joey Harriet, he's a true freshman, running back and linebacker, and he's going to have a great career here as a Land Shark.
Nice to see the freshman out there with a big run of about, 40 yards or so.
I thought he was going to break that one.
We're passing the 3.5-minute mark now, and the JV Shark team basically is on a drive here with the 1st and 10 at about the 23-yard line of Lake Marion.
Joey's a big, strong kid, too. And, it's one of those things like the game is clearly in hand, and certainly don't want to ever be accused of running up a score, which we are not. But when you put your subs, your seconds and thirds, and even fourth strings in, those guys want to go eat too, right? They want to get their job done and perform and execute, and that's exactly what we're seeing here right now. And let's face it, the Lake Marion team's probably pretty dejected and worn out. And
ready to go home.
Yes, sir.
2nd down and 8. Gavin faked the handoff, keeps it, quarterback design run around the right side, all the way down to the 6-yard line.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Gavin's dad's up here, and I've got to make sure he doesn't fall off the balcony. He was pretty excited about that run, as was I. So,
Dion up here with us every game.
Here we go. Yeah, I can tell you right now what's happening is Coach Wilkes is trying to get Tanner Swisher to hand the ball off for his brother for a touchdown here. So,
well, Swish, I'm going to let you do the play-by-play on this one.
I don't know if I can, brother.
Tanner takes it, hands it to Swish. He gets down to about the 2-yard line, and maybe the brothers are going to have to try that again. Tucker, he's carried the ball quite a lot tonight and has a touchdown earlier in there with his brother playing together with him for the first time. Tanner looks over to the sideline. We got 3 wideouts over here on the left side, one to the right.
He looked over the sideline, and Coach Wilkes said, hey, slow down, kid. Let's milk the clock down on the play clock.
Fair point. And Tucker takes the handoff, and he's close to the goal line, but a big yellow flag comes flying in, and they said he was down around the 1 anyway. Let's see what this penalty is going to be. That's a hold on the Land Sharks, so that's going to mess up things a little bit. But those two guys are going to have other opportunities in these next few games, I expect, to team up for a TD.
So what are we doing here?
We're looking now at a 2nd down and goal from the 13-yard line.
It looks like we just put on our field goal team.
We did just send a whole bunch of people out there.
He's going to take a knee.
Edward Reidenbach
He's taking the knee,
is
which
back in
is
it.
classy.
Yeah, and they're just going to run the clock down, not put any more points on the board.
Now these guys just called
come
timeout.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, I think they thought that we were gonna try to score there.
Yeah, no, that's not the plan.
Yeah, here we're trying to do the right thing.
Well, I'm sure it's just a miscommunication. The heart of most disputes in this world.
Hey, talking about that win last week, I looked at Max Preps. Sumter hasn't lost like that since 2014.
Whoa.
It's been a while.
Yeah, that's Sumter. They've got quite a football tradition, the Gamecocks over there. 5A program. And they didn't know what hit them last week. I mean, we came in ready to play, not intimidated in the least.
We were coming off of a bye week. We were rested. We were ready. We were focused. We out-coached, out-prepped, out-executed, everything.
And Edward does take the knee here. And hopefully there won't be any more clock stoppages. And we'll just take a couple more snaps.
Is it me? The play clock just went to 40, and it's been at 25 the most of the night.
It has been at 25, and I don't know why it went to 40. Oh, are we running? We're not doing a running clock.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Anyway, it's 3rd down. It doesn't matter what the down and distance is. We're just running the clock out here. Again, we want to thank you all for joining us here. We can go ahead and do the stats now, I think, if we can get them for the game.
I'm going to let you guys run them because I'm going to run down to the field.
And I'm just going to give you some quick stats before we sign off. Thank you, Swish. I will see you at the Academic Magnet game in 2.5 weeks. So rushing tonight, Tuck Swisher had 10 rushes for 41 yards. I'm only going to give you the ones who picked up quite a few. Looks like he led the Land Sharks in rushing. A.J. Johnson had 7 for 30 yards. Edward Reidenbach completed 7 out of 9 for 207 yards in limited playing time. He threw 3 touchdowns. Will Virgilio 3 for 5 for 90 yards and a TD as well in the game. Receiving-wise, Cole Strickler had a big game. 4 catches, 141 yards, averaging over 35 per carry. Gavin Gaspar had 2 for 73 yards coming in late in the game. Jace Krafchick, I think he only played one play the whole game, and that was a 32-yard touchdown. Yeah, it was a touchdown, but it's not reflected here.
No, I don't think it was a touch. He only had.
It wasn't a touch?
No.
Okay. Well, it was a long catch for 32 yards. Bryce Bennett had 2 for 26. Zach Hagedon had 1 for 25.
Yeah, one thing I think Devin Yard had some, but I might have messed that up. I blame Bill. Yeah, we need.
Yeah, Devin's stats didn't make it in here. I think those are included in Edwards.
Yeah, Edwards.
Devin played 1 series, though, and it ended in a touchdown handoff to Tucker Swisher. So that's going to wrap it up for tonight, folks. Thank you for joining us here on this weird Wednesday night at Johnson Haygood. We'll see you in our next region matchup against Academic Magnet, the Raptors, in a couple of weeks.